What I'm about to share is Judge Frank Caprio's most heartbreaking case, one that left the entire courtroom in tears and changed everyone's understanding of courage. A 10-year-old girl named Sophia Ramirez stands before the judge defending her family's unpaid traffic fines. But when Judge Caprio discovers why this brave little girl is speaking for her parents, his response becomes the most beautiful moment of compassion you'll ever witness. I'm warning you. Sophia's story will break your heart, but Judge Caprio's incredible response will restore your faith in humanity and show you what true justice looks like when it's guided by love. When this fearless child faces the American legal system to protect her family, what happens next becomes unforgettable. But before I share this life-changing story, please hit that subscribe button, because this tale of courage and compassion deserves to reach everyone. And I'm curious, where are you watching this from right now? Are you on your phone during a lunch break, watching on your laptop at home, or maybe listening while you're driving? Have you ever seen a child show more courage than most adults? Drop a comment below and tell me your city and how you're watching, because Sophia's bravery will inspire people everywhere, whether you're in Chicago, Toronto, or anywhere in between. This isn't just a courtroom case. This is a story about family, sacrifice, and the power of love to overcome fear. What happens in the next 30 minutes will show you what real courage looks like in the face of uncertainty. It's a quiet Tuesday morning in March at Providence Municipal Court, and Judge Frank Caprio is reviewing his morning docket when he notices an unusual case that immediately captures his attention: the Ramirez family traffic violations. With unpaid fines totaling $420 and a note indicating the defendants speak limited English. The courtroom has its familiar atmosphere, defendants waiting nervously for their cases, attorneys shuffling through paperwork, and court staff preparing for another day under Judge Caprio's compassionate leadership. At exactly 10:45 a.m., the bailiff calls the case, and what happens next stops everyone in their tracks. Instead of adults approaching the defendant's table, a tiny figure steps forward, a 10-year-old girl with long dark hair, wearing a carefully pressed school uniform, clutching a manila folder against her chest like it contains the most precious documents in the world. Behind her, moving hesitantly, are her parents, Maria and Carlos Ramirez. Maria, a woman in her 30s, stays close to the wall as if trying to become invisible, while Carlos keeps his eyes downcast, both clearly terrified of being in this official American courtroom. But it's Sophia who draws everyone's attention. Despite her small stature, she walks with determination toward Judge Caprio's bench, her chin raised with a courage that seems impossible for someone so young. In her folder, she carries translated documents, carefully prepared notes, and something even more important: the desperate hope of keeping her family together. The Ramirez family is here because, over the past year, Carlos has accumulated multiple traffic violations while working 2 jobs to support his family: expired registration, broken tail light, and parking violations. Each citation represents another barrier to their American dream, another financial burden they can barely afford. And friends, before I show you this incredible display of childhood courage, let me ask you something. Have you ever witnessed a child step up when adults couldn't? Have you seen someone so determined to protect their family? The Ramirez family, the court clerk announces, consulting his files with a puzzled expression as he sees the young girl step forward. Sophia walks confidently to the front while her parents remain several feet behind. Clearly overwhelmed by the formal American legal proceedings they don't fully understand, Judge Caprio looks down from his bench, with those compassionate eyes that have seen every kind of human struggle. But the sight of this determined child advocating for her family creates an entirely new kind of courtroom moment. "Good morning," Judge Caprio says gently, his voice automatically softening for the young defendant. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "My name is Sophia Elena Ramirez, Your Honor," she says clearly, her English perfect despite the slight accent that hints at her family's journey. "I am here to speak for my parents, Maria and Carlos Ramirez." Judge Caprio sets down his paperwork completely. This time, his gesture is one of complete attention to the extraordinary situation unfolding before him. Sophia, how old are you? I am 10 years old, Your Honor. I will be 11 next month. The courtroom falls into a respectful silence. Everyone present realizes they're witnessing something unprecedented. A child taking responsibility for her family's legal troubles with a maturity that seems beyond her years. Sophia, can you tell me why you're speaking for your parents today? Sophia takes a deep breath, clutching her folder tighter. Your Honor, my mama and papa, they work very hard, but English is difficult for them. They are afraid they will say something wrong and cause problems for our family. I study English in school and I understand better. So, I come to help them. Judge Caprio's expression softens even more as he recognizes the profound love and responsibility this child has taken upon herself. I see. And you understand these are traffic violations your father received? Yes, Your Honor. My papa works at the restaurant from 6 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, and then he cleans offices from 5 until midnight. The entire courtroom watches in amazement as this 10-year-old girl presents her case with the thoroughness of an experienced attorney, organizing documents and explaining her family's situation with clarity and love. Sophia, these preparations you've made are very impressive. Did someone help you organize all this? No, Your Honor, my teacher, Mrs. Johnson. She taught me about being responsible and preparing for important things. I stayed after school for 3 days to make sure everything was perfect for my family. Judge Caprio glances at Maria and Carlos, who stand watching their daughter with a mixture of pride and anxiety, unable to fully participate but trusting their child completely, and friends. If you're already feeling emotional watching this brave little girl defend her family, hit that like button. Because what Sophia reveals next about why her parents can't speak for themselves will break your heart and show you the incredible sacrifices families make for love. Judge Caprio stands from his bench and walks around to the front, not with authority this time, but with the gentle concern of someone who recognizes extraordinary courage when he sees it. Sophia, I want you to know that what you're doing for your family takes tremendous bravery. Can you help me understand why your parents are so afraid to speak in court? Sophia looks back at her parents, her eyes filling with love and protectiveness that seems impossibly mature for her age. Your Honor, my mama and papa, they came to America to give me and my little brother, Miguel, a better life. But they are very afraid of authorities because they think if they say something wrong, we might have to leave. Judge Caprio kneels down to Sophia's eye level, his voice becoming even more gentle. Sophia, are your parents here legally in America? The question hangs in the courtroom air like a delicate butterfly, and Sophia's response reveals the weight this child has been carrying. Your Honor, my mama and papa are working very hard to fix their papers. They have a lawyer, Mr. Peterson, who is helping them, but the process takes a long time, and they are afraid that any trouble, even small trouble, might hurt their case. Sophia reaches into her folder again and pulls out a business card and several official-looking documents. Here is Mr. Peterson's card. And here are the papers showing my parents are in the middle of applying for, she pauses, struggling with the legal term, for asylum status. They had to leave our country because it was dangerous for our family. Judge Caprio accepts the documents with reverent hands, understanding that this child is entrusting him with her family's most precious secret, their vulnerable immigration status. Sophia, you said it was dangerous in your country. Can you tell me what that means? Sophia's voice becomes quieter but more determined. Your Honor, in our country, my papa saw bad men do bad things, and he told the police. But the bad men found out, and they said they would hurt me and Miguel if my papa didn't stop. Sophia pulls out one more document from her folder, a report card with straight A's and a perfect attendance record. Your Honor, while we wait, I go to school every day and I study very hard. My mama cleans houses during the day, and my papa works 2 jobs. We pay taxes and we follow all the rules, but sometimes the car rules are confusing when you are tired from working so much. Judge Caprio examines Sophia's report card, seeing not just academic excellence, but evidence of a family fighting to build an honest life in America. Sophia, your grades are excellent. What do you want to be when you grow up? Sophia's face lights up for the first time during the proceedings. I want to be a lawyer, Your Honor, like Mr. Peterson. I want to help other families who come to America for safety. I want to make sure no other little girl has to come to court to speak for her mama and papa because they're afraid. The emotional impact of this statement ripples through the courtroom as everyone realizes they're witnessing not just courage, but the birth of a future advocate for justice. And guys, if you're not crying yet, you have a heart of stone. Sophia's dream to become a lawyer, to help other immigrant families, shows the incredible strength that can come from adversity. Make sure you're subscribed, because what Judge Caprio does next will restore your faith in the American dream. Judge Caprio takes a moment to compose himself, clearly moved by Sophia's presentation and the weight of responsibility this family has placed on their 10-year-old daughter's shoulders. When he speaks, his voice carries the wisdom of 30 years on the bench and the heart of someone who recognizes true nobility when he encounters it. Sophia, I want you to turn around and look at your parents. Sophia turns to see Maria and Carlos watching with anxious love, their entire future resting in their daughter's small hands. Now, I want you to tell them in Spanish that they don't need to be afraid in my courtroom. Tell them that Judge Caprio says they are welcome here. Sophia's eyes widen with surprise and relief. She turns to her parents and speaks rapidly in Spanish. As her words reach them, Maria begins to cry softly, and Carlos places a protective hand on his daughter's shoulder. Judge Caprio addresses the family directly, speaking slowly and clearly. Mr. and Mrs. Ramirez, please come forward. Hesitantly, still holding on to Sophia, the parents approach the bench. Sophia, please tell your parents that I understand why they came to America. Tell them that protecting your children from danger is what any good parent would do. As Sophia translates, both parents nod, tears flowing freely as they hear acceptance rather than rejection from this American authority figure. Judge Caprio continues, tell them that working 2 jobs, paying taxes, and raising a daughter who gets straight A's and wants to become a lawyer, that's exactly the kind of family America needs. Judge Caprio returns to his bench, but his demeanor has completely transformed, from judge to protector. Sophia, I'm not just dismissing these traffic violations. I'm going to do something I've never done before. He picks up his phone right there in open court. Mr. Peterson, this is Judge Frank Caprio. I have the Ramirez family in my courtroom, and I want to personally recommend their asylum case. This family represents everything that's right about immigration to America. He hangs up and turns back to Sophia. Sophia, I want you to come back to my courtroom in 1 year, not for any legal trouble, but to show me your report card and tell me how your family is doing. Will you promise me that? Sophia nods eagerly, her fear completely replaced by hope. Yes, Your Honor. We will come back to show you we are good Americans. You already are good Americans, Sophia. You already are. The courtroom erupts in sustained applause as the Ramirez family embraces, their nightmare transformed into a dream of acceptance and possibility. What happens immediately after Sophia's court appearance becomes one of the most beautiful examples of community support and American compassion in action. As the family exits the courtroom, they're approached by several people who had witnessed Sophia's courageous advocacy. Mrs. Chen, an elderly woman who had been waiting for her own case, stops them and, through Sophia's translation, offers Maria additional house cleaning work. Your daughter's courage shows what kind of family you are, she says softly. I want to help. Dr. Williams, a local pediatrician who happened to be in court for a traffic matter, approaches Carlos and offers him a part-time position at his clinic. Anyone who raises a daughter like Sophia deserves every opportunity to succeed. But the most touching response comes from Mrs. Johnson, Sophia's teacher, who had heard about the court appearance from other students. Sophia, Mrs. Johnson says when she visits the family that evening, I've spoken with the principal and the school counselor. We want to make sure you have extra support for your college preparation. Your dream of becoming a lawyer isn't just possible, it's inevitable. She presents Sophia with a stack of books about law, civics, and American history. These will help you understand how to help other families like yours. Within a week, Sophia's story spreads throughout Providence. Local news stations interview the family, with Sophia confidently translating for her parents and explaining their journey with the same poise she showed in court. "My parents are heroes," Sophia tells the reporter. "They saved me and Miguel by bringing us to America. Now I want to help other families feel safe, too." The interview airs during the evening news, and the community response is overwhelming. The Ramirez family receives offers of help, support, and friendship from dozens of local families. Mr. Peterson, their immigration lawyer, calls with incredible news. Sophia's appearance in Judge Caprio's court, combined with his personal recommendation, has accelerated their asylum process. 1 year later, exactly as promised, Sophia returns to Judge Caprio's courtroom. But this time, she's not carrying a folder of legal documents. She's carrying report cards, certificates, and photographs that tell the story of a family's successful integration into American life. Sophia, now 11 and noticeably more confident, approaches the bench with her parents, who no longer hang back in fear, but stand proudly beside their remarkable daughter. "Good morning, Your Honor," Sophia says with a bright smile. "I kept my promise to come back and show you how we're doing." Judge Caprio beams as he sees the dramatic change in the family's confidence and demeanor. "Sophia, look at you. You look like you've grown a foot taller. How has your year been?" "Your Honor, it has been the best year of our lives. My parents received their asylum status 3 months ago, and now we are officially safe in America." She hands Judge Caprio her report card, straight A's again, but now with additional achievements. "I was elected to student government, and I started a club called New Americans, where immigrant children help each other with school and teach other students about our cultures." Carlos, now confident enough to speak directly to Judge Caprio in careful English, steps forward. "Your Honor, I want to thank you. When Sophia came here 1 year ago, we were afraid. Now we feel American." Maria adds, also in English, "Sophia teaches us English every night after homework. She says we must learn so we can help other families who were afraid like we were." Sophia pulls out a certificate from her folder. "Your Honor, I received the scholarship you recommended me for. I'm enrolled in a summer program at Brown University for gifted students interested in law and public service." Judge Caprio examines the certificate with obvious pride. "Sophia, this is a program for high school students. You're only 11. The program director said my essay about helping immigrant families was so good, they made an exception. I wrote about meeting you and learning that judges can help." Judge Caprio looks at the photograph, then at the family standing before him, with dignity and hope rather than fear and desperation. "Sophia, do you remember what you said you wanted to be when you grew up?" "A lawyer, Your Honor, to help families like mine." "Well," Judge Caprio says with a warm smile, "I have something to tell you." Judge Caprio: "The Providence Bar Association has created a new scholarship specifically for students from immigrant families who want to pursue law. They're calling it the Sophia Ramirez Future Advocate Scholarship." Sophia's eyes widen in disbelief. "They named it after me?" Judge Caprio smiles gently. "They named it after you, because you showed everyone that courage isn't about not being afraid. It's about doing what's right, even when you are afraid." He turns to the crowded courtroom, now filled with people who had come just to see Sophia return. "Ladies and gentlemen," Judge Caprio begins, his voice filled with pride. 1 year ago, a 10-year-old girl taught all of us what it truly means to be American, not just by being born here, but by embodying the values that make this country great: courage, family, loyalty, hard work, and the dream of a better future. He looks back at Sophia, his eyes warm. "You've kept every promise you made in this courtroom, and now America gets to keep the promise it made to your family. That hard work, courage, and dreams can come true here. Sophia Ramirez's story spreads far beyond Providence, becoming a national symbol of what's possible when courage meets compassion, when fear is replaced by hope, and when a community chooses to embrace rather than exclude. 2 years after her first appearance in Judge Caprio's courtroom, Sophia is invited to speak at the National Immigration Law Conference, addressing a room filled with attorneys, judges, and advocates with the same grace and poise she showed that unforgettable day. "When I was 10 years old," Sophia tells the crowd, "I learned that being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means protecting the people you love, even when you are scared." Her words earn a standing ovation. 3 prestigious law schools offer her guaranteed admission upon high school graduation. Later, Judge Caprio reflects on that moment. "Sophia didn't just defend her family that day in my courtroom. She defended the very idea that America's strength comes from families like hers. People who risk everything for their children's future." The Sophia Ramirez Future Advocate Scholarship has now helped 12 other immigrant children pursue their dreams of becoming lawyers. Each recipient commits to providing pro bono immigration services for families in need, a living legacy of Sophia's courage. Maria and Carlos Ramirez now own a small family restaurant, employing other immigrant families, mentoring them and helping them navigate the American dream. And every weekend, Sophia is there too, still translating, still advocating, still giving hope to families who remind her of her own journey. Now 13 and in high school, Sophia spends her summers interning at Mr. Peterson's law office, the same lawyer who once represented her parents. She helps prepare families for immigration hearings with the same dedication she showed in Judge Caprio's courtroom years ago. "Every family I help," Sophia says softly, "I remember being that scared 10-year-old girl. I want them to know that America has room for families who work hard and dream big." And friends, Sophia's story reminds us of something powerful, that courage can come in the smallest packages, that the families seeking safety and opportunity are the same families that built America, and that sometimes a child's bravery can teach adults what it truly means to be compassionate. So if Sophia's courage touched your heart today, take a moment to spread that same compassion. Share her story. Like this video to honor families like the Ramirezes, and subscribe for more real stories that prove kindness and courage still matter. Because sometimes, one act of compassion doesn't just change a life, it changes what we believe is possible.